Hi, and welcome to Health Communication. This is the class COMM309 at West Virginia University out of the Communication Studies Department, and I am Dr. Elizabeth Cohen. I'm going to be your instructor for this course. Hi. I'm broadcasting out of my living room today, which is actually probably where you'll see me broadcasting quite a bit, although sometimes it'll be in the office, sometimes it'll be outside, but you might see these fellows. This is Watson. It's one of the dogs that we have here. And this down here on the floor, this is Ada. She might show up in some of the lectures too. Normally she's on the couch, but she had some x-rays done yesterday and she was heavily sedated and it's still kind of wearing off. So she's just a little bit stoned right now. Okay, I'll stop moving it around. Sorry. Welcome to the class. I'm very happy to have you guys. Even though this is an online class, I hope that we'll get a chance to maybe interact in person, maybe not necessarily in person if you can't make it to my office physically, but I just want you to know that you can always reach out to me via email. We'll definitely see each other on eCampus on the discussion boards, but you should also feel free, if you want a more face-to-face type of experience, to contact me and see if we can set up sort of a Skype appointment. My intention now is to go through the syllabus, and that contact information for me is right up here on top, including my Twitter handle, although to tell you the truth, I'm not on Twitter a whole lot. But even if you wanted to just send me a message, it would get to me through there. So there's lots of different ways you can contact me. Email is usually the best one, though. I'm a little bit obsessed. I'm usually around, and I can get back to you within 24 hours in the weekday. Depending on what's going on my weekends, maybe 48 hours. But those are usually maximums because I will try to get back to you as soon as I can. Okay, so what is this course all about? This course is about health communication, obviously. Well, what is that? To tell you the truth, a lot of that is going to be covered in the first chapter of your textbook, and so I won't go into a lot of detail there, but let's talk about that textbook. You need to get a textbook for this course. It is required. Wright, Sparks, and O'Hare 2013 is the year, because this is the second edition. The title of the book is Health Communication in the 21st Century. I know that you can rent and buy this textbook from the university bookstore. It is there. I think renting it is around $30 and buying it is maybe around $60. And if that's good for you, then I encourage you to get it through the bookstore, and we need to encourage you to get it through the bookstore. But I'll just say this and say no more. It might be available in other places. So take that to mean whatever you want it to mean. Anyway, and basically the way the class is going to work is more or less each week we're going to cover a chapter from the book. And you'll read a chapter from the book, and then there's going to be a reading quiz posted on eCampus that you'll need to do. And they'll usually, not every week, but a lot of weeks be a discussion too, centering around some sort of topic. So I'll talk a little bit more in detail about those things, but the book is really important because we're going to be going through most of it. Occasionally, there's a couple of weeks, particularly towards the end of the semester, when we won't be using the book because there are topics that I think are covered in other types of readings. And those readings you're not going to have to buy. Those readings are going to be posted on eCampus for you, okay? And hopefully, if you haven't gotten a chance already, you will just have some time to explore eCampus. You'll notice that the course is pretty much structured in weekly modules. So we have 3 major units for this course with 3 exams. And then within those units, we've got and it's structured in folders on eCampus. We've got weekly modules for each week where you can find all of the content that you need for that week, including the course objectives, like what do you need to get out of the book chapter that you're reading. Usually there'll be a mini lecture from me, and I call them mini lectures because I don't talk about everything in the chapter, but what I try to do is go over the things that I think are most important, or I'll try to explain concepts that maybe are more difficult to understand to sort of help you out. But it's a good idea to watch those. It's just kind of like this, me talking, nothing fancy, but it'll give you a sense of the types of information that I think is going to be important for you to know, and sort of and sort of demonstrate your knowledge on when we have exams, and we also have these kind of written exams, which are mini papers. Anyway, so the other part of the syllabus I'll let you read is more specific course objectives about what I hope you'll be able to do by the end of the semester. So please take a look at those. Um, I've already sort of gone over the different ways that you can contact me, but just realize that there's more specific information on here. I will say I have this note about the pace of the course on here. And we talk about how it's asynchronous, and I'm a computer-mediated technology type of person, so I like to use words like that, meaning it's not synchronous. It's not like we're in a regular classroom where I'm talking to you and I'm getting feedback immediately. You know, there's like the synchronous back and forth between us. It's asynchronous, which means that you can watch this video whenever you want to watch the video. You can reply to it whenever you want to reply to it, or send me an email and then I can get back to it. Not immediately, but maybe an hour later, right? So it's kind of like people can do this at their own time, which is fabulous. And actually, that's one of the reasons our department likes to do these online classes, because it makes it easier for people to take classes who have other things going on in their lives, as I know a lot of you do. And that is one of the great things about having an online course that's completely online like this. Let me just warn you, though, the downside of this is that it's not like we can sort of have one of these instant feedback moments where I can constantly be checking in and getting a sense of if you're understanding everything, if you're having any problems. And for that reason, it's really important that you reach out to me if you need something, right? Because I'm not going to be able to sort of see that necessarily on my own. I have tried to, as much as possible, you know, I mentioned before, make it so that you can kind of get into a routine that you can do every week. So once you get the hang of it, you'll know, okay, you know, on Monday I'll try to post a discussion post, and then I'll check back on Tuesday and see if anybody's responded to it. And you can sort of like get the rhythm of a week, and then have the same type of rhythm each week, right, to make it a little bit easier for you. But I do think that one of the big challenges of this course is just keeping up with it, because you have to remember to log into eCampus every day. And I do recommend you check every day in case there's new announcements or anything like that. But besides that, when you complete your assignments and when you do things, there's a lot of flexibility there. There are deadlines, and those are all listed in the syllabus, but for the most part, you have a lot of flexibility. Okay, if I want to contact you, by the way, this is also in the syllabus. If I want to contact you individually, I will send you an email, and that email will go to your Mix account. So you need to be checking your Mix account, and if you don't have your Mix account, for those of you who are new, is your WVU email. If you don't want to check that account, I'm pretty sure that there are ways to sync up the Mix account with other emails that you do check, where you can just have your messages forwarded, and I would recommend doing that. But if I want to make an announcement to the whole class, most often I'm just going to post that as an announcement on eCampus. So you'll log into eCampus, you'll see there's a new announcement, and you'll see what I say. I try to post at least one announcement each week to sort of check in and make sure things are going okay. If it's a really busy week, I might be posting a lot of announcements, or if I make mistakes, or if things come up, whatever. If it's something of an emergency nature, which doesn't happen a lot in online classes, but if it is, I'll actually have that announcement sort of blasted to the class's email. So you'll see it on eCampus, but you'll also see it pop up as as an announcement, but also be sent to your email. So, but again, just be checking your Mix email at the very least. Okay, so the next page of the syllabus that I'm on right now, can you see? Yeah, this is the grade breakdown. And I think it's pretty self-explanatory about how many points you're getting for each activity. I've already mentioned some of these activities. And then if you're just trying to figure out really quickly what grade you have in the class based on how many points you have, over here underneath Morpheus, the Morpheus meme right here, it'll actually tell you the percentage that you need, the percentage of points that you need to earn in the class to get a if that's your goal, or B if that's your goal, and things like that. But you can always kind of calculate what grade you're making in the class by adding up all of the points that you have, and then dividing that by however many points have been offered so far, okay? Okay, so let's just talk about all the different assignments. There's one kind of rare assignment that you're going to need to do this week, which is a syllabus quiz. And that is kind of testing you on your knowledge of the syllabus to make sure that you've gotten all the policies down, but it also is, I call it like an kind of an eCampus quiz too, because it'll ask you about where different things are located on eCampus. Now you're going to take the syllabus on eCampus. It should open in a separate window so you can kind of explore eCampus while you're doing it, but make sure you have a copy of your syllabus nearby too so that you can answer the questions. It's worth 5 points, but you really need to get all 5 points. So if you take it once and then you don't get all the points, I'm going to ask that you take it again. And you can actually take the quiz as often as you like. So just keep taking that syllabus quiz until you get all of the knowledge of the syllabus down. That's the only type of quiz you're going to have, or I'm sorry, you're only going to have, of course, a syllabus quiz one time. You also are going to have a reading quiz to do this first week, and I have extended the deadline to the next week just to make sure that if you have some trouble getting your book or something, you'll have a little bit of extra time, because you will need your book for all of the reading quizzes because they're on the readings, unless the readings aren't from the book. But so you'll need to do that, and those reading quizzes are going to be weekly. Those are the ones I talked about, how each time we cover a chapter, each week there's going to be an accompanying quiz. There's usually only going to be a few questions. They're going to be multiple choice, and you won't have unlimited times to take the quiz, but usually if you take it once and you don't get the answer right, there'll be at least one more shot to take it again. So keep taking the quizzes until you understand the content, okay? The other thing that I had mentioned that's going to happen, not every week, but quite a bit, are these discussion board conversations. And to be quite honest, the reason I don't require them every week is because I expect a lot. And I really want you to be engaged with the discussion board post and put a lot of effort into it. So sometimes we'll have breaks, but you aren't going to know ahead of time which weeks we're going to have breaks and which weeks we aren't. So every time you log into eCampus, and I'll usually have an announcement, but check the discussion board to see if there's some sort of discussion going on. And that discussion is just going to be going on for the week. If you want to continue it past the week, I'd actually be quite happy with that. But I'm going to be grading the discussion board posts. They'll usually be posted on Monday morning, and then they'll close at 11:59 p.m. on Sunday evening at the end of that week. And I'll usually grade the discussion posts if I can that Monday, okay? Now, what I'm looking for in these discussion posts, there's more specific details actually posted at the, oh shoot, crap. I'm so sorry. There is, I didn't pull it off the printer. There's a rubric that I use to grade the discussion post each week. That is posted in numerous places on eCampus. I'll have it posted for our first discussion post, but you can also find it in the assignments and instructions manual. And basically, I'm grading you on 2 major things. One of them is like your level of engagement. So that has to do with frequency and timing that you're posting. I really discourage you strongly from waiting to post all of your thoughts on Sunday. That's way too late in the week. What I'd like to see is you monitoring the discussion board throughout the week and engaging in the conversation as it sort of develops. The discussion is the only thing that really mimics sort of a traditional classroom. It's the only way that I think we can dig into some of the issues we're going to be talking about together. So what I want to see is you posting early and often. At bare minimum, I'm expecting you to post one thing just sort of needs to be like your own post, your idea of something. Well, actually, the truth is I take that back. At bare minimum, let me rephrase this. At bare minimum, you need to have 3 posts, okay? At least 2 of those need to be responses to other people's posts. If all 3 of them are responses to other people's posts, that's fine. But again, what I want to see is not you just, logging in once a week and posting 3 responses to 3 different people, in an hour, and then never sort of coming back and responding. I'm looking for like engagement over the whole week, so that you can be involved with the conversation. The other thing I'm going to be grading you on is, I guess you could engage, quality of course content integration. So I think it's great when we talk about things that aren't in the book, but what I want to see at the end is some sort of connection to the course material. Because at the end of the day, what these discussions should hopefully be doing is help us all sort of understand the concepts that we're talking about from the readings, and then applying them to different types of examples. Those examples could be experiences that you've had or that your friends have had, or this is my favorite actually, I'm biased. I love it when people post media things. I love it when you are like, oh my gosh, I just saw, an article in a magazine I was reading that talks about hospice care or something, and then you post it to the discussion board so that other people can see it, and maybe you connect it back to one of the vocabulary words for the week or one of the theories that we're talking about. I think that's great, because anytime that we can use the discussion board to kind of help teach each other, right? To give each other more additional or different ways of thinking about the types of the different concepts in the course. I think that's really good. So that's really what I want to see from the discussion board conversations. As you can see, I wrote a lengthy description there, though, so you can read that for yourself. The other two major things that you've got going on in this class are going to be exams, of course, and those exams are going to be administered on eCampus. They're going to be mostly closed-ended questions, matching, true, false, and multiple choice questions. And it is going to be open book, open note, but I don't want you to be under any false pretenses, because in the past these exams have taken people quite a long time. So when you see that you have an exam coming up on the syllabus, make sure that you're going to be able to set aside a couple of hours to do that exam, okay? There are 3 exams are going to take place at the end of each of the 3 topic units that we cover throughout the semester. And after your exam, a week following your exam, I kind of ask you to do what I would consider a second type of exam, which is a mini paper. And whereas the typical exams are all closed question, this is a writing assignment. And it's a mini paper because it's not like a full research paper, but it is a paper that would, I kind of have like a range. Like, I don't want more than 2,000 words, but you're probably going to have more than 1,000. So it's going to be about like 3 to 4 pages, okay? And the reason I consider this a different type of exam is because what I'm going to be grading these mini papers are on your ability to take concepts that we've been talking about and apply them to different types of examples. Each mini paper is going to be a little bit different. For instance, the first mini paper is about a personal healthcare experience you've had. So the idea will be to describe this personal healthcare experience that you've had, but describe it using the knowledge from the book, and I'm going to be grading you on how accurate you do it and how well you integrate those things. So that's it, though. So you've got 3 mini papers, 3 exams, reading quizzes every week, and discussion board posts quite frequently. And that's really the bulk of what your grade is going to be made from. Okay. There are a variety of course policies down here, and it's kind of like I actually should call it course policies and resources. Maybe I'll change that before I post the syllabus. Because some of the policies are like, well, what about late assignments? Well, the truth is, when it comes to late assignments, because you have, for the most part, all week to do it, there are no late assignments, okay? The one exception would be mini papers, which I will take late, but I'll deduct 10% of your points for each day that it's late. The other sort of policies that I want to draw, I want you to read all this for yourself, but just to draw your attention to some things. If you need to drop this class for any reason, make sure that you do that before the final drop day, which I think this semester is October 24th, okay? That just ensures that you can drop the class without it affecting your GPA, okay? If you need any special accommodations, because you have maybe some sort of disability or, again, some other need for accommodations, whatever the case is, you do need to get authorization through the Office of Accessibility Services, and their information is here. So make sure you take care of that, and then you can just let me know, and we can talk about, how to best take care of that. The other important thing I want to point out is that even though I study technology, it's not something that I actually work on, so to speak. Like, I don't do tech support. I study technology. But if you need tech support, if you're having eCampus problems and it doesn't involve the content, it's not like, what folder do I find this in? Or, Dr. Cohen, did you post this week? Those are all questions I can take. But if it's something like eCampus isn't, I'm having problems logging into it, or eCampus, I'm not able to see these types of documents when I click on them, right? You're going to need to call WVU's tech support, their Office of Information Technology Services, and they've got a couple numbers here. One's toll free, one's not. They've got emails and actual advice mallard. I made it there in case you need some help with that. On that note, though, just because things can happen with technology, lots of unanticipated things. As much as you can, and it's not always possible, but try not to wait until the last minute when you have assignments due, just sort of anticipating that these things could come up, okay? Besides that, I think, again, the other things are pretty self-explanatory. Here I have a schedule for you, and you'll notice that what I've done is, I don't know if you can really see it in this video, but I've got these things, sort of like deadlines that aren't reading quizzes, because it just would have gotten monotonous if I would have put all the reading quizzes in. But major types of assignments like exams and mini papers, they're here in red, so you can kind of get a sense of how your semester is going to look, okay? And I think that covers all of the major things. Oh, one more thing. On the back, if you want to read more about the description of the mini papers here, go ahead and do it. I did forget to mention one thing, which is that you can do 3 mini papers, but I'm only going to take your 2 highest grades. So if you only do 2 mini papers and you get a 0 for not turning in a third one, I'm going to drop that grade. This will allow you, if you don't do, but I encourage you to do the first 2, because this will allow you, if you don't get the type of grade you want on the first one, to make it up with the last mini paper or something like that. So just keep that in mind. You can do up to 3, but no matter what, I'm only going to be taking the top 2 highest grades. But here are more detailed descriptions of the mini papers. I encourage you to look at those, because you'll start to notice that some of these topics overlap with some of the things we'll be talking about in the discussion board. So I think that pretty much covers it. This actually is classic for me. I always try to keep things under 20 minutes, and here we are, 22, 19, 20, 21, 20. Okay. You know where to find me now, I hope. At the very least, please send me an email if you have any questions about this or need any additional clarification. And I'm really looking forward to the semester. I look forward to getting to know you on the discussion board. I can already tell you that this week's discussion is going to be just an introduction. We're not going to get into any heavy nitty-gritty stuff. I want to get you comfortable posting and responding to other people on the discussion board, and I want to get to know you. So please tell me a little bit about yourself on the discussion board, and if you can, please feel free to post pictures, give yourself a little profile picture, anything to help us get to know you. So I really appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to a great semester. Thanks.